Everybody, welcome to the latest on Snow Talk, and yes, we do have some snow to talk about, but it's not all cold talk, really. I think there are some warm spells to be had, and we'll be discussing that as well as in the next couple of minutes. All right, for today, we've got some gusty winds out there. We've had them all night. As expected, the temperature reached a low point and then began to level out and rise for the early morning period, and we'll continue to see that trend throughout the day today. And there is a cold front that is actually going to drop down toward the evening period, and it's kicking up the wind now roughly from, say, Buffalo, just near Chicago and near Omaha, and this is going to drop to the south, but you see there's no cloud cover with it, no moisture to work with, so it'll move through, but the only thing you'll notice is just the change in the wind direction, and then eventually you'll notice the colder air with it, but it lags about 100 miles or so behind the front, so it won't arrive until after the sun goes down. So we're not going to have falling temperatures today, even though the front will pass through. All right, so in fact, when the front passes, there is a chance that the dew point could actually drop a bit. If that happens, we could overachieve, favorite term, in our highs this afternoon. We could go into the mid-60s. We have seen it happen many times. It just depends on when it arrives. All right, so that's today's setup. Once we head into tomorrow, now tomorrow morning there is a chance with enough cold air around, something that were to fall from the sky in any form would be likely frozen variety, and it looks to be more frozen setup like freezing rain or drizzle. Of course, any amount of that is never good news, but this time of year it's not that big of an ordeal. I just right now don't see a lot of moisture to be had because of that drop with the front coming in and the dew point later today. So that means tomorrow the radar may light up with rain at times, but I think it's going to take until tomorrow night to really see anything decent reach the ground. And at times there could be some lightning and thunder with this, and then further to the north you get into the colder air side of things, but I think we'll avoid that. So nothing severe expected, but enough for lightning and thunder to go on, and there will be some wind energy to work with, but nothing off the chain. We don't have everything lined up just right for anything severe locally, which is good. But the thing is, as the rain moves off to the east early on Saturday, look at the difference in our highs. This is remarkable to see 40s to the north and 70s to the south. Whereas the front places itself will highly determine how things will go. I mean, we're talking about a one-county difference in temperatures expected for Saturday. So kind of wild there. So if you don't like where it is in your location, just travel and you'll be fine. And then the rain should taper off in the afternoon. The front itself lingers, but we may stay partly mostly cloudy out. Well, that will determine how warm we can really get on Sunday. I think it will still get into the 60s. But there is certainly a chance that Saturday could end up warmer than what Sunday will be. And I know that gets a little complicated to explain, but that potential is there. But in general, we will have more dry than wet periods this weekend, and I don't really see a whole lot of cold air to work with. I think we'll have some decent warmth, especially if we get any sun breaks. It won't take long. All right, so in fact, here's the Euro as an example. It's got 52 in Louisville, 63 in Fort Knox, and then 70s into Bowling Green, and then 30s around North Vernon. Very, very tight gradient there. So this is what we call bus potential kind of forecasts, and because the models never can get these details exactly right, so especially when we're dealing with one county off. All right, then Sunday, as I mentioned, mainly dry, but then we deal with the actual low moving in on Monday, which will then, typical fashion, when a low pressure approaches the west side of the Appalachians, it's going to transfer energy out to the coast, and that will then take over as the lead low, and when that happens, that will become the new nor'easter, if you will. This time, the rain snow line should be much more to the west, though, on the other side of I-95, so not as much of the coastal cities getting impacted, but still a big system for wind and rain. For us, yes, there are leftover low that's going to surrender. We'll still have enough to it to allow for changeover to rain to snow. Timing is everything with this. If it's a daytime changeover, don't expect much at all. This time of year, the sun goes high enough that it is hard to get snow to accumulate in the daytime. If it's a nighttime event, it can happen. Absolutely. It can happen even into April. You can get nocturnal accumulating snow that's gone as soon as the sun comes up. But daytime snow, again, it would just be a festive look to the flakes out there. But that potential is there, which will linger into Wednesday, and then finally it'll leave. But it may take its sweet time leaving, just FYI next week. It may take a few days, but we'll try to recover. Now, the ensembles from the GFS take most of the accumulated snow potential closer to the actual low path to our north. I mean, it gives us some potential here. Even the Euro, I mean, nearly identical on the idea that there's going to be some snow potential with this. But again, I wouldn't get too excited, snow lovers, on that. If anything, it's going to be annoying because we're all getting, even snow lovers are getting to the point now where we're getting tired. It's time to warm things up and let's just move on. This is actually going to be the first day of spring on Tuesday when this is all happening. So let's match the calendar the best we can. All right. So having said that, you can see the trends here in the ensemble show certainly way colder than normal with this setup for Tuesday into Wednesday. That's to be expected with the snow potential. Then we flip the switch and go back to a warmer than average setup for the following weekend. In fact, warm enough that I think 70 degrees or higher is at play, and even the latest CFS severe weather model is starting to amp up the potential for severe weather. Certainly more to the west across the Mississippi Valley, but we could get some of that for either the 24th or 25th, which will be a Saturday and Sunday. Something to watch. We haven't really had much of that to talk about this season, but this is a setup that could favor that. And then after that, we drop again. But nothing is dramatic. We do cool down, but nothing like drastically cold like we're going to see Tuesday, and then we will likely warm back up just after that. So this up and down pattern will continue. This is to be expected, but the thing is, as you move further into March, and certainly into April, the warm-ups become more dramatic, and the cold spells become less dramatic. Even though they may still balance out, we eventually see one win out. That's just the way the Earth works. That's the way the world goes. That's that song, Tawana? World turns, that's it. I'm not that hip. Promise.